I just watched Don't Worry, Darling, and let me say, there's a lot of reason to be worried. What's good, my fellow film fiends? I go by Kevin D. Moss, aka the Film Fiend himself, and today we'll be getting into Don't Worry, Darling, and make sure you stick to all the way through the end because I'll be giving out my score at the end. And you're gonna want to know that. A 1950s housewife living with her husband in a utopian experimental community begins to worry that his glamorous company could be hiding disturbing secrets. This film right here is a perfect example why I try not to be overly hype or excited for movies because once it disappoints and it doesn't reach or match my hype levels, it stings. The disappointment really hurts. It's like what MJ said in Spider-Man No Way Home. If you don't get your hopes up high, then you won't be disappointed. And she was right. She was right. Because, man, what a letdown this film was. But before I get to the negatives, let me try to focus on the good. Because there's a lot of negatives. But first and foremost, I got to say Florence Pugh was amazing. She was fantastic in this role. I don't know how many sports fans I have here, but I'm gonna use a sports analogy. It's like LeBron James, OG LeBron in the Cavs when he was taking those teams to the playoffs, even the finals, when they had no business being there. That's the type of performance that Florence Pugh had here, man. She carried, and I mean carried this film on her back. She uplifted this script that was pretty much dead in the water, and she was dynamic with her co-stars or the ones that had acting ability. She really she did the heavy lifting in here, man. She was phenomenal. I expect nothing less from her. She's a world class actress, and and those on full display here. Another positive, Chris Pine. He was entertaining. I liked his role. He had this sinister, stoic mannerism about his character. It was very mysterious at times. You didn't 100% know what he was thinking or where it was going, but there wasn't enough of him. Like anytime he was on screen, he pretty much commanded the role. There was a nice little back and forth with her and Florence Pugh's character, but it was so small. Like everything that worked in here in this film, it was not enough of it. And you know what? Gloves off. Let's just get straight to it, to the negatives, because there's not much positives I could say about this film because of the type of film it is. The biggest issue I had with this film is that it's never as smart as it thinks it is. It tries to be this thought-provoking mystery, but to me, it came off as soulless and predictable. No lie, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I was sitting back in my chair and I thought, you know what, this is either gonna end with A or B. And sure enough, when this big reveal happens, it turns out to be the latter. And the fact that I was able to decipher the ending, especially when you're in this type of genre of suspense, mystery, thriller, that's a problem in itself. I felt, especially with the reveal itself, I felt everything I saw prior did not make sense. This plot itself is extremely nonsensical. None of the fibers really click. I kind of understand where Olivia Wilde was going. It's been done in the past before, but it's been done in so much greater heights. This came off as a cheap knockoff. None of the cast chemistry worked at all. Besides Florence Pugh, she had to work aside Harry Styles, which is a musician, and it shows. It honestly shows. The chemistry was terrible, and he has a lot of heavy lifting to do because his role is very important to the film. But don't get me wrong, he's not the worst actor working, but for this type of role, he was extremely miscasted, and we know why he got casted. That's for another day. But the chemistry as a whole, man, it fell flat. I don't know if it had anything to do with the drama that's going around this movie, and that's for TMZ. I don't deal with the drama side of things. I'm solely focused on the movies, but this film was a letdown. There's certain things that happened that's supposed to lead to the mystery, the shock value of it. Like I lie, I say a Stanley Kubrick or Alfred Hitchcock, those type of films. But when it happens here, you're like, what? Why is this character doing this? Why is that? Like, it doesn't really make sense as far as the bigger scheme of the story itself. The first half, it's extremely sluggish because it tries to attempt to build, this intriguing story, but it honestly all ravels once you see what the reveal is, because it doesn't make sense whatsoever. And yeah, I'm extremely disappointed, man, because Olivia Wilde, to me, she was my most intrigued, one of the most intriguing up and coming directors. She made Booksmart, which was her first film. Phenomenal film, great film. If you haven't watched it, it had a lot of heart to it. So I was expecting something big with this film, but I felt like what's that meme when it was like, hold on now, buddy, you got a little bit too much dip in your chip. This was what this was. I feel like Olivia Wilde, she went above and beyond to her capabilities as far as a director on her second film. She was not ready for this type of genre, this type of material that she was shooting for. And yeah, man, miscast, wooden characters, horrible twists and turns. It all felt cheap to me, and yeah, it's a huge letdown in my opinion. Now, the overarching story itself, I was never able to get fully invested into it, and it's primarily because of how it was written. It didn't make much logical sense to me. It just felt like a series of events. None of it really meshed and clicked or flowed together. It didn't feel like a legit concept in itself, man. And what a bummer. What a bummer, man. And that's why I gotta give Don't Worry Darling a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Don't Worry Darling leaves you wanting more because what you get is a generic and soulless film. It's never as smart and thought-provoking as it wants to be. Biggest crime a suspenseful mystery thriller can do is be predictable, and this film does exactly that. This is a Walmart version of all the other films it tries to be. Now that hurt to say, because like I said, I was extremely excited for this film, man. And you know what? I don't think this deters me from Olivia Wilde in the future. She's 1 out of 2. Even Jordan Peele had a bad follow up with Us, in my opinion. So I still think her future is, on the up and up. It's just one hiccup. But man, what a disappointment, man. How did they fumble the bag like this? But yeah, that was my review for Don't Worry, Darling. Let me know in the comments if you watched it and what you thought of it. Am I tripping? Am I being a little bit too hard on it? If so, let me know. I'm interested to see what you think. And until next time, Kevin D. Moss, thank you.